What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And of course, you guys know I had to do this. I compared the Esports Box Club gameplay from July to the new one in February in a recent video. And of course, you guys know I had to compare all of the Esports Box Club gameplay I've seen so far. However, I'm just going to put a little asterisk at the top here. I didn't count the 2019 gameplay or the early 2020 gameplay because as far as I'm concerned, the first trailer you guys will see here from November 2020 is where they started this project they're on. I believe the initial gameplay we saw back in 2019, I really believe it. I could have sworn someone told us that they pretty much scrapped that and started again from 2020. So you guys will see 6 or 7 different bits of gameplay over the period of 2020, 2021, and 2022. The months you'll see are November, March, June, July, December, and then most recently, February. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. So this first one is from November 10th, 2020. Now, believe it or not, around this time, we were expecting to get early access in December 2020, around Christmas time. This was the Alpha Movement trailer, and this made a lot of people kind of shit their britches. I'm not going to lie. It was crazy to see. The punches were not anywhere near as good. They were pretty lackluster. They were pretty farty. Still decent, you know. I mean, I would have played this for sure. We all would have played this for sure. But, you know, they definitely focus a lot on the footwork here. And yeah, still a cool looking trailer. Definitely lots of fun. But yeah, this is from November 2020. Crazy to look back on it, really. I haven't watched this in a long time, if I'm honest with you guys. I haven't watched it in a long time. And you saw the likes of Ben, Gatti, Galahad, and Warrington in this trailer. Now, this next one that you'll see on repeat is from March 20th. 2021, and this was from Fighter Announcement 1, where we saw about 15 odd seconds of gameplay. Now look how slow this is in comparison to what we're seeing. This looked good back then, but in comparison to what we're seeing recently, this is not looking that good. It's so much slower and stagnant. And yes, back then, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna change my mind. Back then, it was still good, and I'll still hold my hands up and say it does look good, but in comparison, you can tell how good they have got. But back then, I'm still hold by the fact that I believed it looked good, and I still believe that back then it was good. But in comparison now, it's a whole nother level. But you can just see the difference. But that one, like I said, was from March 20th, 2021. So a whole 4 months after the Alpha Movement trailer. Now this next one is 8 days later, March 28th. 2021. This was the Alpha gameplay. Now, this was quite a long video. I cut out all the bits of just like that wasn't important and just put all the main gameplay. And a lot of this was David, Adelaide, and Eddie Hall. We saw a bit of Lyndon Arthur as well. And yeah, this was the first time we saw a lot. You know, it was always little minutes, little like, you know, edited clips like from the Alpha Movement and from the Fighter Announcement one. But this is when we got to see something big. And you know, I mean, even if we look here at the HUD, very basic HUD. Name, no flag, basic stamina bar, basic body bar, nothing else to it. No side panels on the body or the head, which is like what we've got now. You know, and like I say, guys, I'll always say it. Back then when this dropped, this was incredible. But all this video shows is going to show you guys how much they improve each and every time. This, yet again, the same as the Alpha footwork, same as the Fighter Announcement 1 gameplay. This was playable for sure. You know, they show a lot of things that we hadn't seen before. The feints system, things like that. They show us a countering system in this gameplay as well. But this was nearly a year ago, guys. This was 11 months ago, March 2021. We're now in February 2022. 11 months. And yeah, you know, they got rid of a lot of the crowd and stuff. You notice that in all this gameplay, there is no crowd. It's a stadium, yes, but there's nothing else really going on. Lyndon Arthur's footwork was pretty nice, actually, to look at back in the day. It was actually pretty decent. You know, not as impressive as what we're seeing now. I always found that Lyndon's back foot always seemed a bit gammy. I never know why. It always looked like it wasn't quite connected, like he was dragging it, like it was broken or something. But I'll still stand by what I said back then, and I'll still stand by it now, that this looked good, still looks good, but just doesn't look as good in comparison to what we're seeing now. And then we jump to June 14th, where we saw ESBC at E3's Future Games show. Now, we did see a lot of old clips. I've edited it to show you guys only the newer clips. Wasn't much really. A lot of what they showed was older stuff. But still, we got to see a lot of knockout animations that we hadn't seen before. This was when we saw the most knockouts we'd ever seen. And, you know, all in all, you know, you could tell this was improving. This was one of the more lackluster performances from ESBC. You know, a couple of screenshots and just a few seconds of gameplay, especially when this was meant to be at E3 and they show a lot of older gameplay. All in all, not upset. We got to see, like, for example, Johnny Nelson being rocked. We got to see different ragdoll animations, which I thought was awesome, especially the one on the ropes. We got to see Arturo Gay and Mickey Ward counter-punching. Some new models, like I said there, with Mickey Ward there. We got to see a bit faster in comparison to the Fighter Announcement 1. These shots are a bit faster, a bit more realistic, as opposed to the slow manner that they had in Fighter Announcement 1. If I'm being honest though, that might be my least favourite gameplay we've seen. Looking back on them now, side by side, comparison to comparison, that might be my least favourite, if I'm honest. I think the E3 was probably my least favourite gameplay. I don't know what state the game was in back then. We don't know if it was old or new. We see a little bit of increase with the HUD. They added that little red bar above it. But other than that, not much has really improved. I'm not sure what stage it was in. But for it being June, in comparison to us seeing the stuff back in March, wasn't hugely impressed with this. Back then, I was like, oh, cool. We didn't get to see much. But looking back on it now, this is probably my least favourite gameplay of them all, if I'm honest. And then we jump to July 29th with the development update. And this was a big one. This was lots of Lawrence Akali and Lyndon Arthur. This one will always, as I said last time, this one will always annoy me because there was so much movement. So much movement. Just like, no punches being thrown for ages. But we got to see a lot of gameplay. And this was quite game-changing for the game, for us as content creators. You can see the huge differences. The time thing has changed. The HUD for the Lawrence Akali and the flag, for Lyndon Arthur and the flag, the heads-up display, the beats per minute, the little body thing has got the sides in the middle and the sides of the head, in the middle of the head, middle of the body, etc., etc. So I don't know if it'd be the UI or just the HUD. I'm not very clever like that. You know me, guys. All changed. All looks so much smoother than that earlier gameplay. The HUD itself. Gameplay itself is looking a lot smoother. We got to see a full crowd, a busy crowd of people moving, lights moving around. A much more of an atmosphere than the earlier gameplay that we'd previously seen. While Lyndon Arthur's movement still sometimes looked a little bit like junty kind of. Yeah, I'm not really sure. The punches were definitely nicer than what we had seen before. Definitely a much more realistic pace for sure. This shows us a bit of game, a bit of a bit of movement, a bit of step back, some counter punching that show us throughout this gameplay at some point as well, which is really cool. We got to see, pivots and step backs and head movement, and we got to see a few knockout animations as well, a few stuns, which was really cool to see. We got to see, for example, when he stunned Lawrence Akali's beats per minute thing starts to glow, and Lyndon Arthur's bar is flashing like fuck, and the wobble he's all over the show because he's been really badly stunned. And we also got to see Lyndon Arthur showboat, putting his hands behind his back and dropping his head to get out of the way of that shot. Some good head movement we got to see as well, which was really cool. This was awesome, this video. I'll still say that. I definitely say that, it holds up for sure, as all of these do. We could have played any build of them and been quite happy, but this was like, fuck me, from what we had seen from the E3 in June, and then we saw this in July. It's like, in 1 month, they've made all them differences. That's why a lot of us thought the E3 gameplay was pretty old, because I'm pretty sure the E3 thing was on really short notice. There was a few things in this that I didn't like. Some of the punches were definitely sloppier and didn't really look like they were connecting much, if I'm honest. But definitely, some good shots in here, some good gameplay all in all. And definitely a really good trailer with some good knockout animations, some good slips, pivots, and movement, and yeah, all in general, and we got to see the rival gloves and the Venom gloves as well, which was really cool. Definitely a game-changing one, and we were all curious how they'd follow up after this one. Now, the next one you guys have probably maybe forgot about, to be honest. The next one is from December 10th, 2021. So 5 months after the July gameplay, we got this little 30-second snippet of Roy Jones Jr. moving around that was presented by Sports Gamers Online, I believe it was, SGO, yeah, which was really cool. So, and this, while we were all a bit underwhelmed because we were expecting something bigger, we weren't surprised because it was for a third-party company, Sports Gamers Online. We knew it wasn't going to be tons of gameplay, but I really love this. The way Roy Jones moves, so realistic. We got to see the Coldwell Gym. We got to see a lot of atmosphere in the background. All in all, I actually really enjoyed this gameplay, to be honest. I really liked it. I thought they'd done a really good job with the Jones and the video they made of it. And I thought it was brilliant, to be honest. The movement they showed, they leveled it up, and they weren't as desperate to have the footwork crazily quick. They showed that there can be some footwork, but also you can just move and you can, just kind of, control the ring, swagger around a bit like Roy Jones Jr., and just do it. That's what I thought was brilliant about that video. There was definitely a good one to see to end the year. And then we go on to February 17th. Now, one thing I'm going to say is this game I'm going to show you at the start here is definitely older gameplay. You can definitely tell, because I'll show you guys the Fury and Wilder at the end of this video, and you can for sure tell it is definitely older gameplay, the stuff at the start. Now, of course, still an alpha, still a work in progress. Let's just talk about the HUD for starters. Improved. So much cleaner, so much slicker. The Tyson Fury and the flag and Wilder and his flag are so much nicer. The beats per minute little bar is so nice. I love the little red and the blue on the edges. The counter with the little 3 stars under it and the rounds, that is beautiful. I'm a big guy for things like that, like them little visuals. I think they matter more than people think. And this was from February 17th, so at the time of me recording this, 2 or 3 days ago, when I'm not going to tell you guys exactly when 2 days, or it's the 19th I'm recording it, guys, don't call me out on my bullshit. You know, the change we've seen has been incredible, from the July gameplay to this February gameplay, but not to mention the March gameplay to the July gameplay, the February gameplay has been not just a step up, but it's been a fucking a rocket ship up. It's been incredible. You know, things from and we got to see a lot of things we've been wanting to see, a lot of actual striking. We all started the video, a lot of people I watched who done reactions to it, you could tell we were all watching this right away, like, throw punches, please, throw punches, and that's what they done. They showed us punching on the front foot, counter punching, you know, punching on the back foot, moving on the back foot, getting on the inside and moving your head, fighting on the inside. Body drops. We got to see so much stuff from this gameplay, and without a doubt, something I'm still so amazed of that we got to see. I still cannot believe they dropped it on a random February 17th, random Thursday. I'm so glad they did, though. Absolutely incredible. I could watch it again and again and again. You know, in this gameplay, we got to see so much, like I said as well, not just like the gameplay itself, but the little visuals, like the Grant gloves, for example, Caleb Plant's colourful shoes and colourful gloves, the 60 punches they spoke about, because before they spoke about 30 punches, now they're talking about 60 individual punches, including, you know, jab, straight, power straight, left hook, power left hook, right hook, power right hook, you know, things like that. And absolutely incredible video. Really was incredible. But yeah, you know, you guys can definitely tell through watching this while I'm talking that gameplay at the start of this February is definitely the oldest stuff in the whole video, without a doubt. And that's my opinion, but I think I might be right. I'm convinced that the gameplay at the start of the February video is definitely the oldest gameplay of the whole February video. I'll stand by that until a developer tells me I'm wrong. But all in all, from November 10th, 2020 to February 17th, 2022, I love making these videos. I really do. I have so much fun with it. I don't know why. Maybe it's a problem. Maybe I have a problem. But I love making these videos. They're so much fun to make. And, you know, I just love watching the increase. And what I'm going to do to end the video, guys, I'm going to put the oldest gameplay we've seen and the newest gameplay we've seen and put it side by side for you guys. Of course, the oldest gameplay I've seen here is the alpha footwork, and the newest gameplay I've seen is a lot of punching, a lot of striking, a lot of head movements. They are different, but I just thought I'd put them side by side and show you guys. But, you know, one thing to take into consideration, while the alpha footwork trailer always kind of looks like the slickest, that's because they weren't doing much. The game was relatively empty at that point, whereas now you got to think of the size of the game. You know, but side by side, I still think the new one looks better. I just do. I just think as a whole, for a game, for something I'm going to play, I would much prefer to play the February one that looks just better, cleaner, everything's more solid and polished, as opposed to that older one, of course, which is why they've been working so hard. But, you know, let me know your thoughts, as always, guys. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.